Here are the numbers for Bay Ridge, Brooklyn real estate market update. These numbers are reported in March and they are from the February data reports from Realtors Property Resource. We are not giving legal advice here. I'm just trying to give you some input and information. If you have questions about a particular property, by all means, reach out to me. As you go along in the video, if you like what you see, please like the video. And in order to get future alerts on these, you can subscribe and then hit the alert bell. If you don't want to get the alerts, just subscribe. And that encourages me to put together these videos, which do take me a considerable amount of time to make. Thank you. These numbers are actual sold data in the month of February 2024 for Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. And as you can see, they mostly consist of, the majority is co-ops, and then there's a few condos in here. And there's even a co-op that sold for $50,000. However, I've noted next to it, it says not arm's length, which means that it was sold from one family member to another. So this skews the market a bit. And when you're looking at an average price, as you'll see on some of the slides coming up for properties in Bay Ridge, the numbers will seem very low. And that, again, is mostly because the sales are currently coming from co-ops and condos and not from the 1 and 2 family homes. We have a beautiful shot above, which is from the 69th Street Pier, and it is of the Verrazano Bridge, also referred to as the VZ. So the 69th Street Pier is in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. And now we're going to look at the market trends. And what it's telling us is that there is 10 months of inventory currently in Bay Ridge. And this makes it lean more toward a buyer's market because it's taking longer for properties to get sold. And if you remember, in looking at the numbers, most of those were co-ops and condos. If you went to buy a house in Bay Ridge, you might be looking on the low side at maybe, I don't know, 1.2 or so for a handyman special, upwards of 4 or 5 million, depending upon the particular property. So just keep in mind also that these numbers are for listings that were put on the multiple listing service. So if there was a for sale by owner that was being sold, or it not being, it's listed, we might not have it captured in these numbers, because if they didn't put it on the MLS, which is where these numbers actually come from, gathered by RPR, Realtor Property Resource, then it wouldn't be included. Now, the things that are being listed, mostly co-ops, condos are being sold, or the co-ops and condos, there are some houses for sale, are being sold at 104.2%. So 4.2% higher than the property was actually listed for. And this is a good thing, because it means that people aren't putting something on the market with an unrealistically high price, and that maybe would be why it's taking longer to sell, but that's not the case. So I think the case is that these interest rates that we have right now have gone up so much in just a few years that it really makes it unaffordable for many people to be able to make a purchase. And that's also why we see that most of the purchases are for the co-ops and the condos, because they are lower in price. And the length of time that things are staying on the market is increasing month over month. So median days on the market here, it says 139, which is a 256% increase. So moving right along, this is the gingerbread house in Bay Ridge, featured at the top here. And again, we're looking at the February numbers for Bay Ridge, Brooklyn. And the median estimated value for a property in Bay Ridge is at $1,175,080. Now remember, we're seeing a lot of co-ops and condos being sold, which would pull that number down. So realistically, the average price for a home, a 1 or 2 family in Bay Ridge, would be far more than what you see listed here, because I just showed you what's really been selling, and that's mostly condos and co-ops. And so last month, The only change we saw was by 0.1%, which is not much of a change. And then the property values overall, though, for the last 12 months is -4%. So it looks like it went up a little. But again, remember, we're talking about the condos and co-ops that have been selling. And so maybe there's more competition because they are on the lower spectrum and there's more buyers who can afford them. New listings that have come on the market in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn are at a median list price of $538,500. This is down 40% month over month. And the reason for that is it's basically that people aren't putting actual one and two family homes on the market. The properties that you see here for that price range would be co-ops and condos, and more likely co-ops than condos even. So just understand what the numbers mean. That's why we're going over it. It doesn't mean that the average price in Bay Ridge is $538,500, including one and two family homes, even though it says that's what's included in the number. If they're not listing them, then they're not showing up, and that's pulling the numbers down. So this particular slide shows new pending listings. Pending means it's actually in contract, and the average price that the sale is in contract for is $814,000. Remember that these are only properties, again, that would have been on an MLS, so there could be a property that did sell that wasn't listed on MLS, like could be FSBO, could be somebody selling it for sale by owner, maybe a transaction between family members. Those wouldn't be showing up here right now. You won't see those numbers until we get to closed sales. I would, however, say that the makeup for this would probably have to have quite a number of condos and co-ops to have that number at 814,000, because in general the average price on a home in Bay Ridge is much higher than the number that you see there. So don't get confused by it. Because of the higher interest rates we're seeing now, a lot more people are going toward the lower priced properties, which would be the condos and the co-ops. And one of the places I like to frequent over in Bay Ridge is the Bridge View Diner. It's on 3rd Avenue, just off of 90th Street. And you can get a good meal there. Service is great. And it's conveniently located on 3rd Avenue, where there are all those other shops that you can enjoy. So the actual February 2024 sold listings averaged $420,000. That, as you remember from the beginning, was made up of a lot of co-ops and condos. And so that is what brings it down to that 420,000. So it's not that the number is a mistake, it's that there really aren't many homes selling, and therefore the market is being pulled down when you look at an average price value. If you were getting an appraisal, though, on a home, it wouldn't be compared to co-ops and condos. It would be compared to a home, as long as we could find homes that have, sold in like a 90-day or so period of time so that it's close enough together. Otherwise, there are other methods that are used when the appraiser goes out and appraises, which is part of a normal appraisal report anyway, but at the same time, they do show the market value or the sold values of other properties. So, next. Since you could see that it's taking 10 months on average to sell a property, it is, as I said in the beginning, a buyer's market at this point, because it looks like property owners are having a little bit of a hard time getting their properties sold, even though the properties seem to be selling around the price that they were listed for. And I believe the reason why it's taking so much longer is because so many buyers have been kicked out of the market due to the higher interest rates. If you need help with something real estate related, or you'd like to get a market value, perhaps you need help with getting something fixed in the home, I may be able to refer you to some of the folks that I do business with who are licensed in their particular professions. I can only refer licensed people since I'm licensed and I want to keep my license. So this is Annette Fisher at Bresry Realty, your go-to neighborhood realtor, and thank you. Please subscribe if you like the channel, and if you want to see some of our other videos on the next screen, you'll be able to do so. Go ahead and subscribe. Like our channel, please, if you like it. If you want to see more videos like this, you should subscribe with the bell, and then you'll get an alert message. If you want to put something in the comments about other videos that you'd like to see, anything in the borough of Brooklyn that has real estate related to it. Also, we're now doing some videos on climate change. There are tours, market updates. You let us know what you want, and that's what we want to produce here. Thank you.